I was diagnosed with breast cancer thanks in large part to Komen Denver affiliate. Every month in October they paint the city of Denver pink, and it was October of 2004 that I was reminded to resume my breast self-exams, and in so doing I found a lump. 35 years old and married 3 months.
I was in the shower, and I was, doing my check, and I felt something really hard, and I just, I didn't think anything of it. And then a month later, I felt it again, and it was growing.
I did well with my first diagnosis. 5 years later, unfortunately, I had another diagnosis on the opposite side of my chest, and went through that, and I thought, oh no, here we go again. But I was up for it. I knew what to expect, and I thought, I was over the worst of it. And then 15 years later, I had another diagnosis on the original side.
And they kept me at Sally Jobe for a really long time, and I knew that was a bad sign. And then they took me into another room when the doctor said, you have what's called inflammatory breast cancer. And I'd never heard of anything. And all I heard was cancer, and then he was talking, and all I heard was blah, 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 blah. Because all I could think of was, who's going to take care of my baby? He was only 5 months old at that time. I was so panicked and just crying and driving, and I was like a zombie, just like cancer, cancer, cancer.
About 12 years ago, I had my ever faithful yearly mammogram, and I was very faithful at having it every year. But this time was different. There was a lump, and it was a devastating day because I thought, now what,
I went through homelessness because of the inability to work. I used all my resources, so I didn't have anything at the time of my diagnosis. And so battling homelessness, battling cancer, it was like these bigger demons. You're like, whoa, whoa, Lord, I can't. And then trying to raise your baby at the same time is like, you feel overwhelmed. You feel like you've been defeated.
She says, well, I have some bad news for you. You do have breast cancer, and the surgeon would like to see you as soon as possible and talk to you about the options.
The radiologist was brilliant, and he immediately started biopsying, and the very next day, the day before Thanksgiving of 2004, and gave me the diagnosis: you have breast cancer. My husband and I were there together at home and on speakerphone and listening to him, and we needless to say, we were both petrified.
So it took a year. It was 1 year of constant treatment. And then they said I was good and I was fine. I went in for my 6-month checkup, and she scratched her head and went, let's get some more tests done and all this stuff. And they said, yeah, you've got it again.
It's just so devastating, and you just never know. I mean, it attacks anyone. It doesn't matter what ethnic, background you have, or how you are financially, or just it's not prejudicial.
Well, I've been very fortunate. My history with Komen goes back to 2004. They actually gave me my first ever national level grant, and really changed my career trajectory from one of being able to do very clinical-based research, which would be great, but having the opportunity to remain in science and become a translational researcher and ultimately grow the program that I now direct, the Young Women's Breast Cancer Translational Program. Komen funded us again a few years back, looking specifically at a project focusing on pregnancy-associated breast cancer, a very lab-based research project.
If I would have been diagnosed, let's say 30 years ago, possibly I wouldn't be here today because they wouldn't have that technology that they've gained through their research. So I am very, very thankful for Komen. I want to thank him every day of my life. And I could cry when I say that.
We've certainly learned a tremendous amount over the years that we've been doing this. Our statistics for how our women do stage for stage surviving their breast cancer at the Diane O'Connor Thompson Breast Clinic is higher than the national average and higher than other places in Colorado. Our ability to do the research and be on the cutting edge of what we offer our patients is very much a part of that.
I was very, very worried about the cost. The patient navigator started asking me questions and filling out a form, and she says, you qualify for the full grant that will pay for your surgery, for your chemo, for your oncology. And when I said, where exactly does this grant money come from? And she says, have you ever heard of Susan G. Komen? And I said, well, of course. So I am very, very grateful to Susan G. Komen for saving my life.
We have been so fortunate in the last 20 years that Komen Denver has been around to give $30 million in grants. And just this past year, we gave out $2.5 million. That was more than $1 million shy of the request for monies to help save these women's lives. This is true every year. Every year we have to go through the painstaking process of saying no when people ask for money because there's simply not enough money. I can't say it any more straight than that. We need more. It's going to get harder and harder the next couple of years to make those difficult choices on who gets what dollar, because when we have to say no, we know that it could possibly come at the price of a life of a woman.
And so I'm extremely, extremely grateful for Komen, because if it wasn't for the Komen Foundation, I know that my risk of survival would be in the 20%.
Not everyone is as lucky as me. Not everyone is as lucky as women who have been able to find a grantee that's been funded by Komen.
Well, as I said, I try to thank them every day, and I can't say I'm faithful every day in thanking them, but they deserve a thank you for me sitting here, and not only me sitting here, but thousands of other women that are alive today because of it. So thank you, Komen. God bless you.
The work is not done. It's really simple. It makes it very easy for me to say, please, give. Give what you can. It makes a difference.
It is great to celebrate our successes. Absolutely. Tremendous amount of hard work has gone into these successes, but we are not done. And women are still getting diagnosed. 27,000 young women will get diagnosed under the age of 45 this year, my patient population, young women's breast cancer. And that is way too many. And there are still women every day that I take care of in my clinic who are at risk of losing their lives to this disease. So, so we're doing great, but we have a long way to go yet.